So, what kind of Christian are you? Are you the same as the scribes and the Pharisees of the Jewish nation at the time of Christ, where you'll just dismiss something because they don't like the idea of it, the power of it, they can't understand it, and so they just want to put it down, just like they did with Jesus Christ and just like they did with Peter and John and the other apostles? So, if that's the kind of Christian that you are, then probably this is not for you. But if you are a Christian that's more open-minded and is willing to accept that sometimes the work of God is beyond your comprehension and my comprehension, then just perhaps consider this. Peter, after the day of Pentecost, went with John into the temple and healed the lame man, and they had about 5,000 people convert to Christ at that time because they just couldn't deny that what Peter was saying about Christ was true, along with healing the lame man. Now, the chief of the captain of the temple and also the Sadducees, they didn't like it, so they put him into prison. They put him before Caiaphas and Annas, and they were just saying, by what name did you do this? And they said, by the name of Jesus whom you crucified. So that would have really upset them. So they said that Peter and John were just unlearned, unschooled, ordinary people. And that was their justification for not following them. They tried to find ways to put them down. They spent all their time trying to find ways of putting them down. The same is true with the prophet Joseph Smith. The amount of Christian people, like the scribes and the Pharisees, who spend their days trying to put down the work of God through the prophet Joseph Smith. They say he's ignorant, unlearned. Well, actually, that's true. And so were Simon, Peter, and John. So if they were ignorant and unlearned, but yet the work of God progressed through them, could not be the same for the prophet Joseph Smith in our day. You could be a scribe and Pharisee and say, no, we know better. We know that Joseph was not a prophet. However, Gamaliel, who was perhaps the tutor of Saul, who became Paul, he said as a scribe, or he was a Pharisee, and he said to them all, why don't we just leave this work alone and see if it's of God? Because if it's not of God, it will come to nothing. Well, the Book of Mormon rages throughout the world, bringing people to Christ. It still goes on. There's 17 million members of the church and growing. In fact, we've been growing at our fastest rate ever. So the work of God continues, and no unhallowed hand can stop it from progressing. Even the scribes and the Pharisees who put out anti-Mormon videos. Try it for yourself. Read the Book of Mormon. See if it brings you closer to Christ, and pray and ask God if it's true. I've done that, and I know that it's true. And I am well versed in the Bible as well. So I love both books, but this is true.